9:47 in the morning. It's Indiana in the morning, and it's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. Good morning. In the studio with us this morning, Hazel Johnston and Mimi Green. And if you're watching on Facebook, you can see in the background of our Facebook image this morning a wonderful quilt. Mimi, who did that? Did you do that?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You did that?
Yes. Well, it's a pre-printed panel, and I saw it, and I thought that would be good to, have for the quilt show.
Nice.
6 years ago. So I kind of put it on like PCV pipes, and we stretch it out, and we kind of used it through the years.
Indiana PA Quilters Club, the Pennsylvania Quilters Club. Hazel, this is an organization that's been around for a while, and Indiana County has always had a very nice chapter, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. I just joined last year in January 23. I'm a slow quilter.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah?
But I have fun with it.
You get around somebody like Mimi, it's got flying
I
fingers
just,
with it, huh?
I just admire the ladies and what I see them do each month. Like, wow, I can't do that yet.
Hey, our conversation this morning is presented by Marcus and Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. So, Mimi, you've got a big show coming up.
Next Saturday.
Uh-huh.
Not tomorrow, next Saturday.
And give us the whens and the times. And
Hazel has
Okay.
it right here.
Hazel-
It's Saturday, September 28th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And it's at 717 Stutzman's Road, Indiana, PA. Highway 422 to Wayne Avenue. And then you turn right on the Stutzman's Road. And then when it comes to the top of the hill, you turn left. And there's a beautiful big Stutzman's barn.
Yeah.
And it's free parking. And admission is only $5 to see all the exciting things we've got in there.
Yeah, well, let's learn about some of
Go
those
for it.
things and what people will be seeing. Mimi, a lot of ladies in this group.
We have around 30.
Yeah.
now. And and it seems to be growing, and we have some new young quilters that are interested, which is always good. Always
Yeah.
makes me feel good because I want to continue the art, which it is growing across the country again. But we're going to have a memory section, kind of in memory of Jane Coleman that just passed away. She's been a quilter all of her life, and so we're going to have a memory area for her, and then we have a historical quilt center that Hazel is leading up with Jean Jackson, and there's going to, as far as I know, there's 13 antique quilts that'll be hanging there, and a few things to talk to them about antique quilts. And then we have around 100 quilts hanging, and then we have 3 vendors that's coming from quilt shops, and then we also have members who also have stuff to sell, and then we also have the quilt club booth that will help us pay for the show and encourage others to quilt. We'll have some good deals there, too. So.
Wow, that sounds like quite the show. Now I want to go back to the antique quilts because, in my mind, I picture beautiful quilts that were done many, many decades ago, but I wonder about their durability. And I would assume that a lot of that has to do with how they are stored and the quality of the thread that is used. Would I be somewhat right about that?
It's amazing how some of them are being stored. The main thing is, the best thing is to store them in a pillowcase. And then if you put them in plastic, like a tub or something, don't put the lid on it.
Oh, okay.
Because the plastic will sometimes deteriorate the thread or the fabric. But we have quite a few that's really in great shape. We have some historical quilts that have stories behind them. That's interesting. So it's going to be, you want to check that booth out, to check with Jean and with Hazel. And I'm sure they might have some other information for you. Also, we have feed sack quilt. We have fabric that shows that back in the 20s to the 60s was feed sack fabric that come out. People use clothing, whatever they could use. If you knew a wool salesman, sometimes people used wool. We have one quilt that's like a totalitarian quilt, we call that. It's just somebody took fabric and added fabric to it so they would have warmth. Sometimes the designs are really pretty. Sometimes it was just whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was a crazy quilt that they put decorative stitches between to make it look nice, which Hazel has one of those to show.
Oh, I did a crazy quilt. That's just my cup of tea.
That's where you fit in, huh?
But we have a quilt from the 1880s. It was my great-grandmother's quilt that she hand-stitched everything. It is it's so nicely done that you can wear it you can use it either way on your bed. So the one side is the flower basket in the dark wines and green colors, which are not my favorite. And the other side is like white medallions with like a furry, fluffy finish to it. So my aunt always liked the flower side, and I liked the other side.
So when you did you ever meet her when you were a little girl?
No, she passed away when my aunt and mom were little young girls. So I've only heard stories. So I wrote up a story to go with that quilt.
Oh, nice.
And then I have another quilt there. Is a cathedral window quilt that I asked my aunt to make for me, and she put the little patches in represent clothing from my outfits, from my mother, from my aunt, and from my grandmother. So the girls will look at it and say, "Oh, that's Grandma's dress from so-and-so's wedding in whatever year." I look at it and say, "That's Grandma's apron," because that's how I saw it. That material was an apron. So that's been a fun story. I just love that one.
Yeah. Mimi, the stories behind quilts, they must be just amazing because the women who made them, there was no throwing stuff away. When something wore out, you didn't throw it away. You made it into something else.
We do. And then also, we have a friend that was here at the train show last year, because we hang quilts at the train show,
You sure
too.
do, yeah.
And there was a lady here from Carmel, Indiana, that she takes our scraps and she makes what we call crumb piecing, which is almost like a crazy quilt. But then when she takes and makes tops about 45 by 60 or what, then she sends the tops back. Her husband's here generally once a month traveling through, or they're traveling through. And then we do the quilts for the Community Service Project, which is for the Cancer Center at the Oncology Center. And we make about 10 lap quilts a month for that.
Nice.
So that's kind of our project with our nonprofit organization of the Quilt Club. And the girls all join in by making blocks or giving me even quilt tops. And once in a while, we even get a finished quilt that the girls are very good at supplying and sharing. So
Oh, wonderful.
we're thankful for every woman in the club that works to it.
Sure. Now, you said there were going to be at 100 quilts that are hanging.
So far, we know there's 100 quilts that's going to be hung, and there may be a few more that come in. The quilts are from the members of our club. We've had other people say, "Well, I have a quilt I'd like to hang at a show." But, you need to be a member, and we've got quite a few productive women that we have enough quilts to hang for the show. So
Now, in the old days, of course, we always heard about the quilting bees and things of that nature, where everybody got together and they were working on their section of a quilt as a sort of a club project. Do they still do that?
Well, we start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and the girls bring projects to sew on. So we actually have almost a quilting bee or a retreat every fourth Tuesday of the month at the Christian Church at 5th and Water. And so the girls are sewing on stuff. Sometimes that's the morning they're making their block they're going to turn in for Quilt Club for the community service. And then other things they're working on. But then the last meeting in October, we'll have a 2-day retreat, and they'll work on things. But actually, is to have one quilt that they all work on. We haven't really started something like that. So many girls are into many things with family and activities. But like I say, that was quite a thing back then. And a lot of times it was people would get together with somebody getting married in the family or in the church. They would have church activities. They also would have, like, for a barn raising, if they's going to have a quilt that somebody was building a new home or something. So we haven't really done that, but we're very productive in getting stuff. And we'd like to do our quilts for the Cancer Center.
Yeah.
So Barb last couple years ago did that, where we made the quilt and they have the bell to ring once they have their treatments done. So we're really happy about that, and we've had a lot of feedback that people are happy about that too.
Well, sure. Hazel, again, we want people to know about this show and to come. It's next Saturday.
It's a fun day out next Saturday, September 28th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. is our show time. It's a $5 admission, and it's at 717 Stutzman's Road. It's a beautiful barn. So you'll go up Stutzman's Road up to get to the top of the hill to get to it. Just a beautiful facility and
It really
a wonderful
is.
day out. It really is nice.
It's a nice place.
I always stay there longer when I should stay there. This time I'm going to stay there to work the whole time.
There you go.
Now,
There you
mainly,
go.
too, if you see where McGill Motors is, if you can't find the Stutzman Road sign, it's right there at McGill Motors, where
Yeah.
McGill Motors used to be. So that's something to really look for, and then you'll see the road Stutzman.
Yeah. And just hang a left.
It's just a T road. There's only one way you can go.
Yeah.
So we look forward to seeing everybody. We had a great turnout the last two shows, and we're excited about having a good turnout
And you'll get to see our challenge quilts. Some of the ladies worked on a challenge quilt. Mine's still in pieces, so I'm taking my pieces to the show and laying them out and seeing if you come, Todd, you can decide how you want to arrange my pieces, and I'll see if I like your arrangement.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you can try that. Anybody can try it out and see
That's
what we
a
like.
challenge you're throwing out there, huh?
Yeah, Karen set up a group that every month you had to add something to a quilt. You could start in the corner, you could start in the middle, or you could start on the side. But each month it's like one month you added an hourglass, the next month you added a basket, the next month you added diamonds, the next month you added stripes. So it was kind of a challenge each month to just add a little something to your quilt. So
Yeah. Boy, it sounds like you all have good fun.
It is
with
fun.
It. Yeah, you
We
have a good
do.
time. Well, that's terrific. And everybody's invited to come to the show next Saturday. What time did you say it starts?
9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
9 a.m. to 5. Beautiful.
Come and enjoy.
Yeah. Well, ladies, thanks so much for coming in to tell us about it. We appreciate that so very, very much. Wish you the best, and you do such good work, and you do such wonderful work for the community, too. That we appreciate that aspect of the PA, Indiana PA Quilters Club. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Thank
It's a fun
you.
group.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. Fox News is next at the top of the hour, a couple of moments away, and then it's the Brian Kilmeade Show.